What's up, guys? Welcome back to the machine shed. I made a little progress on the 5.3. I went ahead and painted the block. I painted the valve covers as well. But today we've got a whole bunch of new parts to throw on the motor. We're really going to get this thing together. Another thing I did was I went ahead and assembled our cylinder heads. They're looking pretty good. I cleaned them up real nice, and if you want to clean up your cylinder heads, my favorite method is to use Easy Off oven cleaner. I just soak them thoroughly and hit them with a pressure washer, and they came out really nice actually. So those are looking good. We're going to get those on today. I'll bring the camera down here in a second, and I'll show you some of the cool parts that we got going on now. But without further ado, let's get into it. So here's a closer shot of these cylinder heads. It came out pretty nice, cleaned up good. We've got ourselves a new oil pump because that other oil pump, I just couldn't get it to where I wanted it. We've got a cheapo 6-liter flex plate. This is for 2002 up, 6.0 flex plate with a short snout crankshaft. Now you can buy the Speedway conversion setup with a bell-shaped flex plate and a spacer, but I found out through the power of the interwebs that these actually fit your torque converter snout, and they already have a spacer on the back that gives you that extra space that you need to put your older tranny onto the LS. So we went with that, and I did check that with my torque converter. It fits perfectly. So second thing we went to the junkyard. We've got a bunch of new push rods because we had a bunch that were completely toast. I do have some new rocker arms as well to match those, because the rocker arms that had the push rods on them, they were also toast. They were sort of ovaled out. Then we got some Speedmaster head studs. We were going to go with ARPs, but they were on back order, so couldn't get those. And then we've got the Summit $200 special engine rebuild kit. Got a multi-layer head gasket. I already put the valve stem seals in the heads, obviously, but we've got everything we need here. O-rings, pan gasket, which actually we're probably not going to use because we have a GM Performance oil pan that I went with, which I'll show you later. So we might save this. We'll take a look at the other gasket, see which one's better, and we'll use the better one. But this comes with everything. So you can get your like steam port gasket. There's just everything's in here. So yeah. And then take a quick look at the motor here. I'll show you guys. I just threw some paint on it. Didn't even really prep it. I just sprayed it on. Junkyard motor. But I thought it'd be cool to just spray some paint on it to kind of match the car. It does okay. It doesn't match it perfectly. And then I had some black paint, so we went ahead and painted our valve covers black, but the paint can was not spraying correctly. I was like, it gave it a hammer finish, and I was like, you know what? Now she's hammer finished. Looks pretty cool. I'm good with that. But yeah, so without further ado, we're gonna get into it here and start getting this motor together. We've got our timing chains on, our cam retainer plate. We're gonna go from there and just start throwing parts at this thing. So here we go. All right, guys, so let's take a quick interlude here. I'll show you the number here on this pan. This is the pan I decided to go with. It's a GM Performance pan. I believe they call it, some guys call it the muscle car pan. It was listed just as the GM Performance pan. It's about 1 inch and 3/4 shorter than the truck pan, but it's still got a nice deep sump with a long, sort of narrower front section. I actually wanted to use the F-body pan, but I was scared about the mid and front section clearance on the cross member. The cool thing about this kit is it comes with, your pickup tube. It actually came with a dipstick and a windage tray, so everything should be bolt-on. It also comes with new bolts, new gaskets, everything like that. And this was like, I think it was $200 something shipped. I was gonna hack up the truck pan, but I just don't want to mess with it. I got a lot of stuff to do, so I just figured, you know what? Biden sent us that money. Biden bought us this oil pan here. So, anyways, let's get around. Well, guys, of course the GoPro died at the worst time. We got our rear cover on, front cover on. I didn't torque this front cover down just yet, because once we get into the car and I get all the turbo stuff situated, I want to pull it back off and see if I can't put a hole here to drain our oil off of our turbocharger. We also got the heads on. We got head studs in, and I was going to put ARPs in this. I decided to go with a set of these Speedmasters though. They're a fourth of the price, and they did work, but there's a big but in there. I'll tell you right now that if a guy's going to use these, you have to use, first of all, you have to inspect the threads on each bolt, because I found that there's actually cuttings of threads on the bolts themselves. We don't want those down in our block or in between our stud and our nut, you know, what have you. And you use a bunch of Moly lube when you're tightening these. Don't use engine oil, because I can see these having issues with engine oil, just because of the way even that they torque. The threads on these are honestly trash, but they do work. You just got to be careful. We've got 70 foot-pounds on all of our larger bolts, and then we've got 22 on these top ones here. So yeah, and these were $90. So I mean, you get what you pay for, but the threads are junk. Be very careful when you're threading them in the block. Check all the threads out, but they do work. So anyways, let's keep it going. I just took the intake, ran it up to the paint spray actually, and power wash the intake. So we're gonna keep moving forward here. All right, guys, so we're just getting ready to put in our valve train, and I've got everything lined up here. One of the more disappointing things about when I broke this motor down was the condition of the valve train. And I thought I'd just take a quick second and show you guys maybe something you could check out for when you're looking at these. See if we can get a good look at the end of that push rod. And you can see how ovaled out it is. It's really bad. And there were 7 push rods that were just like that. They're ovaled out on the ends. And then of course, if we go to the corresponding rockers, you'll notice that they're ovaled as well. And you can see again, all right, stupid compressor. Anyways, and so you can see the condition though of the rocker itself, and you can just see all the varnish and how nasty it was. That's how this engine was pretty much everywhere inside. But luckily enough, shout out to the guys at Jake's Auto Salvage, just up the road from me. I went up there and we were able to get, they actually had an engine they tore down to see why it was locked up. And they just had a 5-gallon bucket of parts. And I was able to get them for 20 bucks. So we pretty much got a whole new valve train here for 20 bucks. We did have to use 2 of the old rockers, but these ones are nice and round, so they'll do. And then we replaced the 7 push rods that were bad. So we're gonna go in with these. As I put them in, I'm gonna put it on time lapse, but as I put them in, I'm gonna just dip them all in oil and kind of go one by one with the rockers too. I know that might be overkill for some guys, but I actually like to just submerge this whole thing in oil, stick it on there, and not worry about it when I fire the thing up. So here we go. All right, looks like a motor again. Boy, that intake doesn't look the prettiest, but hey, it is what it is. It's a truck intake, right? We got her all back together. Didn't put in the valve cover gaskets yet. I'm not so sure I like the color on these. I had a can of spray paint that was not working correctly, and I just kind of speckled paint on it. I thought it looked cool, but now that I'm looking at it, it's almost a little bit too much black. I think I might go with the same color I painted the block and paint those valve covers. Just for fun, why not? We got a can of spray paint. But yeah, there she is. We've got her all assembled. I think I'm gonna call it a day. I was gonna go for the transmission, join them both together and set them in a gantry to get them ready for tomorrow, but I think we'll just do that in the morning and call it a night. Anywho, thanks for watching. Have a great night, and I will see you guys soon.